Yeah. Run it back, nation. Sixers, sickos. What is good, man? It's been a minute. I was in Ocean City, Maryland last week, man. For a couple of days, hanging out, relaxing. Didn't talk to you guys for about 4 days. But we're back now. It is time to get back to the content. We are 9 days away from the NBA draft. 9 days. We almost made it, ladies and gentlemen. We almost made it. The time period between the lottery and the draft is a waiting game. We almost made it. Did I farm draft rumors for 3 weeks? Yes, I did. Am I tired of farming draft rumors? Yes, I am. I'm still basically right where I was, which is the 76ers are drafting Ace Bailey unless something crazy happens, but they're probably drafting Ace Bailey. That's how I felt from the start. That's still how I feel. But thank you for tuning in to all of the farming draft rumors content. I want to say that. I talked about trading up. I talked about trading down. I talked about probably trading for Kevin Durant. I talked about, I don't know, dude. We talked about everything. Shout out to Jason 18 with the super chat. If we don't get Ace, I'm crashing out. All of a sudden, dudes want to trade Maxey. I can't stand. We're going to talk about that in this show too. Here, we're going to talk about Jared McCain, his little injury update, his recovery from his meniscus tear. We're going to talk about a story that Charles Barkley told about Billy Cunningham witnessing Joel Embiid in practice and not being happy about it. We're going to talk about, yes, the tweet from Elliot Shore-Parks suggesting that the 76ers should trade Tyrese Maxey. And all of the reactions to the internet from that tweet. I got to give Elliot Shore-Parks credit, man. Elliot Shore-Parks credit. The dude knows how to farm engagement. It is shameless. It is, I mean, for most people, I think it would be a little bit embarrassing. But he has absolutely no shame whatsoever. And he will say something that he knows is going to get engagement. There's no way he believes half of the things that he says. Yeah, we're going to get into all of that, man. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button for me one time. Subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. We talk about Sixers content every single day right here, almost every day. We're keeping it going throughout the offseason. Shout out to I Show Key, has been a member of the channel for 14 months. Shout out to Vlad, is a member in the chat. Shout out to A, is a member in the chat. Jason Clark is a member in the chat. Lawrence Talley is a member in the chat. The members are here. Yeah, man, let's we're going to talk about that Elliot Shore-Parks tweet too, because again, man, the guy knows how to farm engagement. But I like when he tweets things like that, I'm like, I brush over it. I'm like, that's obviously, engagement farming. He doesn't mean that. And then all of a sudden, all of Twitter is talking about it for the whole day. So Elliot Shore-Parks has started a ridiculous conversation on Twitter. We will talk about that also. Shout out to everybody in here. Let's get to this Jared McCain thing, man. What are you guys arguing about in the chat? Maxey, arguing about the Maxey trade. You're arguing about who? VJ. VJ is not currently better than Ace. Somebody thinks VJ is better than Ace. Somebody thinks Ace Bailey's going to be a bust. Somebody thinks he's going to be a superstar. Everybody has a crystal ball in the chat. As usual, shout out to Za in the chat, also a member of the channel. Sicko Nation is in the building. Jared McCain gave us a recovery update. Sixers Jared McCain gives injury update. Goals for the first NBA offseason, man. And I want to firstly say that I feel like everybody quickly forgot about Jared McCain. Everybody has such recency bias. Everybody's so... I just can't figure out how, somebody says he's not a playmaker. People are willing to throw him in a trade package. No, people are talking about trading number 3 and Jared McCain for Dylan Harper. It just bothers me a little bit how the internet these days is so reactionary and shows so much recency bias. Like, if you are out of the picture for 2 weeks, they forget who you are. And they forget what you did, and they forget what you're capable of. Jared McCain shocked me last season. Jared McCain was on pace to have probably the most impressive rookie season since Allen Iverson. It was unbelievable what he was doing, given the fact that he's, technically undersized. He fell in the draft. Just nobody knew he was going to do what he did, and all we saw was, I think, 20-some games from him. But it became very evident that Jared McCain is an automatic bucket. I think that's my take on Jared McCain from watching him last season. An automatic bucket. The kid is just fundamental. He can score from everywhere on the floor. And I started to see that he could score kind of on anybody. I saw him attack Derek White in a preseason game right at the rim. I'm like, this kid just went at one of the best guard defenders in the entire league right at the rim, shoulder in his chest, finish through contact. He can finish through contact. He can get to a mid-range. He has counter moves that are so hard to stop. You stop his dribble left, he pivots, he spins, he goes the other way. He has counters. He has counters on top of counters. And that's the beginning of Jared McCain. That's the first year of Jared McCain. So I can't pass up on his growth potential. I just can't do it. I can't trade Jared McCain for anything, man, because he might become Steph Curry. And I know everybody, Ace Bailey's no Tracy McGrady. Nobody thought Tracy McGrady was Tracy McGrady. You see what I'm saying? Jared McCain's not Steph Curry. Nobody thought Steph Curry was Steph Curry. You know what I mean? I can't pass up on Jared McCain's potential. But anyway, he gives us an update on his injury recovery. He suffered the meniscus tear because he put on a 76ers jersey, and that's just what happens when you put on a 76ers jersey. It was on a play where he landed on his back. It didn't even look like he hurt his leg. We're all confused by it. We don't know. Only a 76ers player would this happen to. 23 games he played last season and averaged 15.3 points and 2.6 assists. McCain had to undergo meniscus surgery on his left knee that ended his season. Now, people might be looking at this 2.6 assists. And that might be why people tell me that Jared McCain is not a playmaker. But again, this is the difference between watching numbers and watching the game. Because Jared McCain was thrown into lineups with Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. You got to remember this. How often was Jared McCain actually put at the one and given the opportunity to run the offense? When I watched him run the offense from the point guard position, Jared McCain is a point guard. That's what I saw. I saw Jared McCain create from the top of the key. I saw him hit a Dembona roll into the rim on a pick and roll. I've seen him hit guys on pick and pops. I've seen him make the skip pass off of a ball screen. I've seen him read the floor from the top of the key. So you can't just look at those 2.6 assists and say Jared McCain is not a playmaker. I've seen him be a playmaker. And one of the games that stands out, obviously, is that game against the Cleveland Cavaliers where the 76ers showed up with nobody. The Cavs were a fully healthy roster. It was supposed to be a 50-point blowout, and they almost beat them, and Jared McCain dropped 35 and 10. So really one of the only opportunities Jared McCain had to run the offense, he dropped 35 and 10 on one of the best defenses in the league at the time. I just think games like that showed me his full potential, and if he's given the chance to show himself, Jared McCain has superstar potential. We got to hope Nick Nurse puts him in the right position also. You got a coach that doesn't seem too fond of player development. So we'll see. But yeah, Jared McCain gives us an update on his meniscus tear right here. Just getting on the court a little bit. I feel really good. It feels a lot better than obviously it did, but I started doing a little jumping with no pain, which is a blessing. So we're getting there. So Jared McCain is jumping with no pain, and that is very good progress. Now, the people are asking, if he's going to play in the summer league. I think I would guess that that Jared McCain doesn't play in the summer league. I don't think, I obviously don't think you should be rushing back from a meniscus tear at 21 years old. He should take all the time he needs to have a full recovery. So I would probably expect Jared McCain to not be a part of the summer league. Also, we've seen what Jared McCain is capable of in real NBA action. I don't need to see him in the summer league. I don't need him to be out there in the summer league. If he does it, if he wants to do it and he feels healthy and he does it, that's cool. I'm perfectly fine with Jared McCain waiting to the preseason to make sure he is, 100% ready to go. I don't need to see Jared McCain in the summer league. For me, the summer league is to see whoever the 76ers draft at number 3. Hopefully we get an Ace Bailey summer league. That would be a fun one, I remember when we drafted Ben Simmons number 1 overall, and although his career turned out to be a complete flop because he's the biggest fraud in the history of the world, his summer league was a lot of fun. So I think the 76ers, if they do take Ace Bailey or maybe they trade up for Dylan Harper, I don't know. But if they do get one of these players at the top that I feel like has star potential, VJ Edgecombe would probably be a fun summer league to watch. So I think it'll be a fun summer league to watch, but I wouldn't bet on Jared McCain being a part of it. Jared McCain also said this: I think the main thing is I just think talking to Kyle and Tyrese on the bench is helping me. They coach me through it sometimes. Kyle will just pull me aside just to coach me, but yeah, just learning the game, learning how I can read certain situations. And look, Kyle Lowry obviously was an elite facilitator in his prime. He won the championship with the Toronto Raptors. I think Kyle Lowry being next to and mentoring and coaching Jared McCain is a great thing for him. I personally would like Nick Nurse to accept the fact that Kyle Lowry is cooked and should not come off the bench. I did see a rumor just a couple days ago that Kyle Lowry plans to opt into his player option or plans to come back for another year, whatever it is. I don't know if he has a player option or not, but basically Kyle Lowry's coming back for another year. And I think I replied to that tweet and said, good, just keep him on the end of the bench. Just speaking on the Kyle Lowry thing, man, if I feel like if I actually see Nick Nurse play Kyle Lowry significant minutes in 2026, I'm going to lose my mind. But I do think it's a great thing having Kyle Lowry there to coach a guy like Jared McCain, because I think Jared McCain has the potential to be a really, really good point guard. And Kyle Lowry has that, facilitating, instinctual point guard type of stuff. Even Jared in the pick and roll. Oh, Jared Butler? Is that his name? Jared Butler? Just watching his pace, his chemistry with a Dembona, I think we had that too, and I can't wait to get out there and help him out. Learning the pace of the game, how I can make different reads, defensive side of the game, watching film and stuff. Dude, I think the biggest thing people don't talk about with Jared McCain is how smart that dude is. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that has the athletic ability. He has the fundamentals. He has like a crazy level of composure and confidence as a young player. But he's really, really smart. And he studies the game. And so this is a guy that's going to go in the film room. This is a guy that's going to, list. He does mind exercises. He does like meditation and manifestation type of stuff. And this is the type of guy that's going to make lists of the things that he needs to work on and go out there every day and work on it and watch film of himself and pick his game apart and try to get better at this and try to get better at that. I don't see a world where Jared McCain doesn't develop into a star. I really don't. And so, like I said before, I'm not trading Jared McCain for anything. But there he is talking about, the defensive side of the game, watching film and stuff. And he's undersized, yeah, but he's not like tiny. I think Jared McCain can be a decent defender. What else are they asking, man? The goal now is to make sure he's healthy and ready to go for when the time calls for it. I just want to be healthy. That's all I'm praying for, wishing for, is to get healthy, get 100% and then get back to work. I know I can help this team do a lot of things, and I just want to get back out there and get a feel for the game, play basketball again, run up and down the court. Can't wait to just put my shoes on and just sprint and go run. I'm excited for that. It's good news for Jared McCain. Again, I don't think we'll see him in the summer league, but I think I expect him to be ready to go the start of the 2025-26 season. Positive update there for Jared McCain. What you guys talking about in the chat? I have a conspiracy theory. We called the Spurs to inquire about trading up to make sure they will pick Harper and not Ace. Hey, that might be true, man. That's a solid conspiracy theory. It might be true because we talk a lot about trading up for Dylan Harper and, you know, what the Sixers would have to give up. And we talk about how good of a player Dylan Harper looks and how he's James Harden 2.0 possibly, and he looks NBA ready. But I think at the same time, we kind of downplay how sought after Ace Bailey actually is. You know what I'm saying? All the Dylan Harper talk is kind of throwing Ace Bailey out the window like he's a nobody or like he's not sought after. And really, Ace Bailey was, when he was in high school, people were talking about Ace Bailey as the number one pick in the draft before. I remember hearing Ace Bailey's name way before I heard Cooper Flagg's name a couple years ago. You know, so Ace Bailey could be sought after by the Spurs. That's why that trade up, you know, I was talking about throwing in the 2028 unprotected Clippers pick. People, you know, lynched me for that. But it could turn out that the Spurs want Ace Bailey anyway. Like we talked about that way when the lottery first happened. It could turn out that the Spurs want Ace Bailey off the top because they have Stephen Castle and De'Aaron Fox, and Ace Bailey might be a much more seamless fit to help them right now with Wemby. You know, doesn't look like he needs much development to be a contender. The Spurs could, I mean, they could trade for a more of a veteran player. But yeah, the Spurs might be interested in just drafting Ace Bailey straight up. The Sixers could end up with Dylan Harper without even having to pull off a trade. You know what I'm saying? As for Jared, he got here and he wants to put in the work as a Sixer, period. Facts, I agree with that. Vlad, what's up, man? So damn excited about watching McCain ball again. Dude, watching Jared McCain play basketball was so much fun. It was fun. Even when Joel Embiid was out, Tyrese Maxey was out, everybody was out. He was that player that was we still get to watch Jared McCain play, you know? There's a lot of times where the guys are out and you're like, I'm not watching this. But Jared McCain was must-see TV, man, before that meniscus injury. He was. Samaj, why would Spurs draft Dylan Harper? The only thing they could do with him is shelf him. I don't know, man. I think Sixers are spreading a narrative to prevent the Spurs from taking Bailey. If I'm the Spurs, I'd probably draft Dylan Harper because, first of all, I think Dylan Harper has a higher upside than De'Aaron Fox or Stephen Castle. And I think you would just draft Dylan Harper, play all three of them, stagger them, whatever, and then figure out who you think makes the most sense for the long term. And maybe in 2 years you trade one of them, or maybe in 1 year you trade one of them. I think Dylan Harper, with his size and ability, is a very rare talent. Is like a James Harden level potential. And so I just think it's tough. You want to draft for fit, but at the same time, if I'm the Spurs, I'm just not passing up on Dylan Harper no matter what. I got to see him for a year or two, man. And I know they want to. A lot of people think the Spurs are ready to win now or ready to take a leap into contention, but I'm still not passing up on Dylan Harper if I'm the Spurs, man. I'm just not doing it. I would draft Dylan Harper, and I would watch him for a couple years before I would make a decision on De'Aaron Fox and Stephen Castle, and that's just how I see Dylan Harper. I might be overrating the guys in this draft, but I personally think this is one of the best drafts. I think this is one of the best draft classes since 2003. Like, I think it's that deep. I think there's 5 guys at the top that have real star potential. Maybe 6 if you talk about Maluach, you know, what he could turn into. But yeah, what else I want to talk about, man? I got this little story that Charles Barkley gave us. And this was, Charles Barkley was on 97.5 The Fanatic, and, you know, it's not like what Charles Barkley says is end-all, be-all. It's not like Charles Barkley was the most dedicated athlete. When people talk about Charles Barkley, or when Charles Barkley talks about Joel Embiid, a lot of times it sounds to me like Charles Barkley is talking about himself a little bit, or you know, the way that he had weight issues throughout his career, and, you know, was drafted by the Sixers. There's stories that Charles Barkley purposely gained weight because he knew that was one of the flaws that the 76ers were talking about, and he didn't want the 76ers to draft him, so he showed up overweight on purpose. There's all kinds of stories about Charles Barkley and his conditioning issues back in the day. And so when he talks about Joel Embiid's conditioning issues, a lot of times it sounds like he's speaking from experience or a little bit of regret, you know. But anyway, Charles Barkley told this story on 97.5 The Fanatic about Billy Cunningham. He went to a 76ers practice with Billy Cunningham, and here's what he said. Brett Brown was trying to connect with all the older guys, so he invited me and Billy Cunningham to practice one day at the start of training camp. Me and Billy went down there, and they were doing light workout stuff. Okay, we're training to practice now. This is the first day of training camp. Joel goes and he sits down. The other guys scrimmage for an hour and a half. Billy says, we got to go. I said, why? And he said, the best player, when they sit down instead of scrimmaging, this team is never going to be successful. Billy was pissed. So Billy Cunningham witnesses day one of training camp, Joel Embiid sitting while everybody else was scrimmaging. And Billy Cunningham was so mad that they left. But he said this sentence, and I got to hand it to Billy Cunningham. He's right so far. When they sit down instead of scrimmaging, this team is never going to be successful. And that was what? 8 years ago, and the team has not been successful. I mean, unless you want to count, okay, they won 50 games, back-to-back 3 times, 50, 60 game regular season, whatever. But is there merit to this, man? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I know Joel Embiid gets scrutinized a lot for his I guess work ethic. I think there is a little bit of merit to it. I've said it before that I never question Joel Embiid's effort. I question his durability. But there is something to stuff like this, because you hear something like this, right? And then last year you heard the Tyrese Maxey called him out in a team meeting about being late to practice and not being a team leader and all types of things like that. And so there is some merit to it, man. And it's unfortunate, but when you look at Joel Embiid's career, you can't call him a playoff riser, And he gets hurt all the time. I know that. And a lot of the times he's having a good playoffs. He averaged 30, 10, and 6 against the Knicks. So he puts up numbers in the playoffs. But there does seem to be an issue with Joel Embiid getting to that extra gear. It's not like the playoffs start and then Joel Embiid kicks into another gear like a Jimmy Butler or somebody like that. And when Joel Embiid's career is all said and done, which might be sooner than later, unfortunately, too, he'll probably go down as a regular season star NBA player who never got past the second round. I hope that's wrong. I hope he comes back this season and is healthy and proves everybody wrong. But every year it's, he has to get in shape. Every year it's, look, it's Joel Embiid slim. He lost 30 pounds. And then every time you see him, he looks exactly the same. And this past season, maybe he left a bad taste in my mouth because he looked absolutely terrible. And I know it was knee swelling or whatever they called it, ramping up, but he looked out of shape. He looked tired the whole time. It looked terrible. And, if this story is true and Billy Donovan saw him sitting instead of scrimmaging and predicted that his team will never be successful because of that work ethic, well, there might be some merit to that. On the other side of it, Charles Barkley also talked about how he thinks if Joel Embiid had a different coach when he was younger, he would have been one of the best players ever. There might be some merit to that. Here's what I really think about how Joel Embiid's work ethic came to be. This might be a hot take, but this is what I think. You know, and I think he was thrown into an unfortunate situation, and we can say the same thing about Ben Simmons during the process years. Both of these guys were treated like babies. Both of these guys were treated like prized possessions, and you were not allowed to say anything negative about them, and you know, all of the load management and the rest and all this stuff. I think this came from the top. I think the whole culture of this team throughout the process and Joel Embiid's quote-unquote lack of work ethic and all this stuff, I think this all came from the top because Josh Harris bought the team when they were in the basement. And basically Josh Harris said, I buy this team for $500 million. My goal here is to quadruple the worth of this team. Okay? And so he tanks it out with no real plan, gets to the top of the draft, misses 17 times in a row, but he gets Joel Embiid. And he gets Ben Simmons, right? And they put the banners outside the arena, and they say, and they sell the jerseys, and they sell the hope to the fans, right? The resting of Joel Embiid was probably from the top, right from the beginning. Protect these players, because these players are how I'm going to quadruple my profits, right? You buy a losing team, you get a player like Joel Embiid, who's injury prone, by the way. Protect that player. Every single time he doesn't feel right, sit him down. And we've seen it his whole career. Every single time he doesn't feel right, sit him down. And I think that came from the top at the very beginning of Joel Embiid's career, and that may have instilled bad habits in the way that he did things for his entire career so far. You know, and it might have also taught him to feel privileged, right? Or I don't have to do this because I'm this guy. I don't have to do this because I'm Joel Embiid, dude. I'm the reason everybody's here. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that scrimmage. I don't have to do that. You know what I mean? So that whole thing with Joel Embiid's work ethic could have been damaged, I think, from the beginning of the process. And I think also Ben Simmons, if he was in a different organization, if Ben Simmons would have went to L.A., if Ben Simmons would have went to the Lakers when Kobe Bryant was still on that team in, 2013-ish? Whatever it was, when was he drafted? 16? Was Kobe already retired? I don't know. But either way, if he would have went to a team with some veterans and they had some expectations, these players would have been pushed a little bit harder early in their careers, and it might have created some better habits, and Charles Barkley might be right. If Joel Embiid was in a different organization or had a better coach or whatever, he could have been one of the best ever. But I think the whole protecting these guys and treating them like superstars right off the bat and resting them every time they don't feel healthy, I think that came from the top, and that may have instilled some bad habits. What do you guys think? Is that a hot take? You feel like that's correct? Chris, Embiid's issue was never work ethic. It was his durability. Simmons is an entirely different conversation. Simmons was spoiled before he got to the league. That's true. That's absolutely true. Sixers may have spoiled the kid, and it paid in some ways, has been detrimental to the team, but in the long run, it's Embiid's. Prove them wrong. Dude, he has to do it this year. He has to prove them wrong this year. You know what I'm saying? And I say that every year, but this is the one, man. This is the one. Joel Embiid has to prove them wrong this year. Last year was such a disaster. You can't come out in 25-26 and have this ramping up, load management, all this stuff. And I think we also saw from Joel Embiid's career that guys are just injury prone. It doesn't really matter. People say he needs to lose weight to be less injury prone. Guess what? He was 245 in college. He was shredded, and he broke his foot. And then he broke his foot again. You know? So he's been injured at 245 pounds. He's been injured at 280 pounds. He's been injured. I don't know the answer. You know, you load manage him all season. He still gets hurt. You play him every game. Nick Nurse last year, or 2 years ago now, Nick Nurse's first year here, played Joel Embiid almost every game throughout that season, was playing him in every back-to-back, and he was torching the league and was looking at another MVP season. And boom, torn meniscus. Is that because he played too many minutes? No, because he tore his meniscus before on a minutes restriction and a load management. I don't know the answer anymore with Joel Embiid. But I would love for him to come out and prove everybody wrong. And I hope that all of the talk about him in the offseason and you know, some of the stuff has pissed him off. You know, he was in that one interview where he was like, I've done too much for this city to be treated like this. I hope all of that gives him some extra motivation. I hope all of this chatter about Joel Embiid's work ethic and he's done, he might as well retire. I hope all of this chatter, and a lot of it comes from me, I hope it motivates him. I really do. Because I would love more than anything to see a healthy Joel Embiid. I know Sixers fans would love more than anything to see a healthy Joel Embiid. It's feeling a lot more and more unrealistic, but we'll see this season, man. But yeah, that, you know, there's a real story about Joel Embiid sitting during training camp and Billy Cunningham getting pissed off about it and leaving. Joel has to prove everybody wrong this upcoming season. Peter, the answer for JoJo is to just go up from the foul line to the foul line. Go up from the foul line to the foul line, play minimal defense without jumping. Pass the ball with 10 seconds left on the shot clock and take the shot no one else is taking. He definitely did it. That's what he looked like, at least this past season. But let's also not have recency bias with Joel Embiid. You guys have recency bias with Tyrese Maxey. You got recency bias with Jared McCain. You also got recency bias with Joel Embiid. I don't think you can take this past season, which was a disaster, and talk about how he plays like as a whole. But I don't know if he gets back to what we were used to, man. Before I get out of here, man, let's talk about the tweet that is shaking the 76ers Twitterverse. Elliott Shore-Parks tweets, based on what the Magic gave up for Desmond Bane, it wouldn't be crazy for the Sixers to see if they can capitalize on Tyrese Maxey's value right now. Would be a great way to jumpstart the rebuild. All right, there's two things wrong with this, man. Well, there's a lot of things wrong with this, but the first thing wrong with this is you don't jumpstart a rebuild by trading players for draft picks. That's not jumpstarting a rebuild. That is a flat-out rebuild. Jumpstarting a rebuild is having a good young player that you can build around. That's jumpstarting a rebuild. So the best way to jumpstart the rebuild is to do exactly the opposite of this tweet from Elliott Shore-Parks. The best way to jumpstart the rebuild is to keep Tyrese Maxey, somehow get rid of Joel Embiid and Paul George, and rebuild the team around your 24-year-old all-star player. You don't trade the 24-year-old all-star player to jumpstart a rebuild. That doesn't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And y'all are also having recency bias on Tyrese Maxey. I'm not taking this past season and holding it against him at all. But no, you don't trade Tyrese Maxey to jumpstart a rebuild. Do you want to rebuild? Or do you want to just keep collecting draft picks for the rest of eternity? You know what I'm saying? What does that do for you? Like, look at what the Orlando Magic... look at what the Memphis Grizzlies got for Desmond Bane. Since he wants to use this as an example. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 unprotected first-round picks and 1 first-round pick swap. You see, the Orlando Magic gave up 4 unprotected first-round picks. Is that an overpay for Desmond Bane? Sure it is. But the Orlando Magic are planning on being contenders for those 4 years. So those picks don't get you to the top of a draft. You see what I'm saying? When you trade a player for draft picks, there's context. Where are the draft picks coming from? If the draft picks belong to a team that's probably going to be in the middle of it, then they're not high draft picks anyway. Now, if you get lucky in a couple of these years and Orlando has all the injuries that they've had forever and they end up, maybe Paolo's out for a season and Franz Wagner has a peanut allergy and something else, then maybe you get to the top of the draft one of those years out of sheer luck of that team being riddled with injuries. But those 4 first-round draft picks aren't that valuable if a team isn't at the top of the draft. So I don't understand trade Tyrese Maxey to get a jump start on the rebuild. That doesn't make sense because you'd have to be trading him to a bad team that's giving you unprotected picks, and you know that team's going to be bad, but you're giving Tyrese Maxey to that team. Anyway, this is the type of stuff that I see, and I glaze over, and I'm like, yeah, that ain't happening. And then 2 hours later, people are still talking about it on Twitter. So I got to give credit to Elliot Shore Parks, man. And he knows how to farm engagement. Andre, thank you for the super chat, man. I think Josh Harris proves that you shouldn't be allowed to own more than one sports team. I believe if Harris cared about the 76ers, we would win. Yep. Well, that is just business. And nobody's allowed to control what anybody's allowed to purchase. And anybody with the right amount of money is allowed to buy an NBA team. But yeah, man, look, I'm excited to watch Jared McCain. I don't think he's going to be in the summer league. And I think this is the prove-it year of all prove-it years for Joel Embiid. And I know I say that every year, but I don't see... If it happens again, Philly's going to just... There's going to be nobody in the arena. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, man. Just wanted to chop it up with you guys for a few minutes, man. Wanted to get back on the grind. Wanted to get back to talking to you and throwing some things out there, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for the support. I will talk to you very soon. NBA